can't stop using my hand every single day while watching anime. I pull her from my screen, just like in my dreams. I want to feel her touch, mainly on my crotch. I want my own hentai girl, and she would sing.
Hello again, guys. I'm back here, and I'm going to be talking about the late-age nation of Phlegra. You can see here, this is a game I was playing, a test game as Phlegra, and this is about getting close to turn 40 at the moment. It's near the end of year 2, almost year 3, and I just this turn had the Shattered Mountain explode. So you can see the Burning Mountain became Shattered Volcano, and I finally got access to the Laestrygonian Tyrants. So this is my first Tyrant. When the mountain explodes, you get this hero Tyrant. I gave him a little bit of gear that I just had on hand. I'm going to try to make some more for him. But I'm going to send him out and see how he handles things. Let's actually send him out here. I need to get him out of my capital anyways. My capital is brutalized. When the mountain explodes, you get a ton of unrest and a lot of dead population here. I've been getting unrest events again and again, almost every turn recently. Every so often you get like the Mountain Rumbles event and you get a ton of unrest in your capital. So that really sucks as Phlegra, but finally I got my Tyrants online. Other than that, I have a few other armies going on, and I'll talk a little bit more in detail about the nation. But before we do, let's see a few things here. So we had a few battles going on. Let's take a look at a battle here. Here's a pretty good example of a pre-Titan battle as Phlegra. So you can see I have a pretty small force, a few of the Mouflon cavalry, mostly Iron Guards, who are the kind of special magic unit, who have insane morale. They have 21 morale, but they need a mage to govern them. But they're very good units. And then I have a few mages here with some slaves to support them. These guys are going to summon some elementals, while the Iron Guard and Mouflons kind of deal with this force here. So this is what a pre-Titan battle might look like as Phlegra. Basically using a few mages supported by shackled mages. I think the shackled mages all died, sorry. A few mages with some communion support, maybe elementals, maybe buffs. I kind of did both elementals and buffs. And then a force of very high morale slave units. That's a good example here, but actually we're going to move on for a moment. We'll come back to this game a little bit later and take a look at the Titans specifically. I'll also go over some ideas for actually managing armies and stuff like that. We'll take a look at the Titans mostly because this is kind of the star unit of this nation. This is what everybody kind of wants to play Phlegra for. But we'll come back to these guys later. So before I get into more details about the nation of Phlegra, I want to quickly summarize the history of this nation. Now, Phlegra's and its past incarnations, Middle-Age Phlegra and Makone, Early-Age Makone, are, in my opinion, they're definitely my favorite nations, and they're one of the most interesting stories in the game, as opposed to a lot of other nations who kind of get worse and smaller and weaker as time goes on. Phlegra and Makone are one of the few nations that seems to get stronger in general as time goes on. A lot of things stay kind of the same, but in general, the nation seems to get stronger and stronger with each age. And the star units, the giant units you get, the Tyrants in Phlegra and the Makone Giants in early age, every age they get bigger and stronger and more powerful until they get to late age where they're just like an unstoppable beast of a unit. But to quickly summarize the distant past, in the first age, there was a shining city of gold called Makone. This city was ruled by powerful giants who strictly adhered to the philosophy of nofap, utterly shunning the lowly degenerate Kumars who infested the world around them, so much so that they declared war on all of them. Sadly, their pride was too great, and in losing that war, they themselves fell to the taint of gooning, slowly becoming twisted and mad, and more they devoted their energies towards edging and jelking. Eventually, they destroyed themselves, with the last of the giants going goblin mode and retreating into their goon caves deep within the bowels of the earth, where they edge in waiting for their chance to get revenge. Now, finally, in the late age, the last city of Phlegra is governed by the brutal Cyclopses and the human oppressor mages, who all live in constant fear of their departed goon kings, locking their helot slaves in chastity cages out of paranoia, and just dreading the final return of the Tyrants. So finally, the Tyrants have returned, and we can see their return now and how brutal they can be. They're brutal for you as a nation, but they're even more brutal for your enemy. But let's start by talking about this nation a little bit more and going into more detail about the different features of Late Age Phlegra. And you can see kind of my meme here a little bit, a tale of two Phlegras. Really, this nation is like two different nations. It changes dramatically going from the pre-Titan section to the post-Titan section. First of all, let's talk about some god ideas. Now, all the incarnations of Phlegra, they will not accept small gods, as in like the human level 1, Dominion 1 gods that a lot of people usually like. They only accept giant gods, titans, monsters, or like some kind of an inanimate statue. So most of the god designs I chose here are either monsters or some kind of titan. In general, I think you should go with either an awake monster or at least a dormant titan as Phlegra. To be honest, the nation is not that strong in the first part of the game. And in the game I was just playing, it took till, as I said, almost turned 40 for the titans to wake up. And that's a long time where you're really trying to like hold things together with just like your units. Your units are quite good, but like your mages are really finicky and hard to deal with. And the shackled mages enable a lot of strategies, but they tend to die very quickly, and it's not easy to build up another force of shackled mages if a bunch of them die. So I really like having a dormant titan or an awake monster. In that game, I took an awake monster. I took an awake Drakon. But here's a few ideas. For example, the Grand Archon, I just gave him some very simple bless. Basically, bless doesn't matter. You don't have any sacred units. The only sacred unit of note is the Oppressor Archon, who's your old man, big mage. He's quite a good mage. So I would probably try to take Unaging if possible, just to prevent him from getting old and dying. Other than that, there's nothing really else you really need to take. I really tried to go for good scales for most of these. The only really dump scale I would think is Turmoil, because you don't really need a lot of recruitment points. All your units are slaves, so they're really recruitment point cheap. The only one that costs a lot of recruitment points is the Mouflon, but I don't know. With good growth, I think you can compensate for that. So here are two dormant gods. The Grand Archon's a little bit more expensive. Took a little bit of Astral to help get you higher in Astral into the mid to late game, and also Unaging. The Lord of the Wild, again, with nature, and this time with blood. This maybe could help you break into blood a little bit, and also, again, give your old man mages a little bit more durability with enchanted blood, give them a little bit more MR resist and some regeneration, which could help a little bit. I don't know about that. Basically, this guy's got good scales, and maybe blood magic if you ever want to break into blood as Phlegra. I think Phlegra is a good candidate for a non-blood nation that could break into blood, so this could be an option for you. A few other options, the Titan of Forethought is pretty good. This is another one that's pretty good scales, again, dormant. I took Arcane Finesse and Unaging. Again, Arcane Finesse is useful for your singular mage that is sacred. Like, why not use that? I guess that could help for that. Give a little bit more penetration bonus. That could also be nice late game if you build a Shroud of the Battle Saint for whatever, maybe your Titan or maybe a Golem or something. The Black Bull, I think, could also be good. Basically the same bless and same like stats as the Lord of the Wild, just with a awake monster instead of a dormant titan. And the last options, I took something similar to this Drakon. I think I only took one Reinvig, though. I took a little bit more scales and a little bit less of a bless. I think I took one Reinvig Unaging, and then a little bit better scales here than this in this picture. Another one could be the Mother of Monsters, again with the same kind of enchanted blood, Unaging, and then mostly focusing on scales. So again, I think a Awake Monster or a Dormant Titan are both your best options for a god design. Just something that can support you in the fairly early game, especially if you get a lot of pressure from an enemy trying to crush you before the Titans wake up. So let's talk about some of the early game units. And again, I'm going to split Phlegra into an early game and a late game section, as in pre-Titan and post-Titan section. These are the main units you're going to be using. All of these units are slaves. All of your units you're going to be using are slaves, except for the Cyclopses. All of these are pretty low morale. However, anybody with Taskmaster, this kind of trait here, they'll be able to give them a morale boost, so it's not really a big deal. A few of your commanders have Taskmaster 2 or even Taskmaster 3, so that kind of compensates for the low morale a lot. And also you have this guy, so I highlighted these four, the crossbowman, the general Halot soldier, the Mouflon rider, and the Iron Guard, who's kind of your special unit. You also have this generic archer. They're not really useful. Late age, just a short bow is pretty useless. However, these guys are so cheap that you could produce a ton of them in just one turn and maybe cast something like flaming arrows. So that could be useful for something. However, I basically never use these. I just rather get crossbows, I think. This guy, as I said, the Ironbound, is your kind of special unit. He has a base morale of 17, and with Taskmaster, as you saw in the game I was showing earlier, he had morale of 21. So basically this guy's almost never going to rout. Like, he's going to stay there and hold on almost as well as like an undead or a mindless unit. Of course not as well, but he's going to hold there for a long time. So these guys are excellent line holders. They got great armor. They have a shield, short sword, so they're great at holding the line. I love a lot of these Ironbound guys with Mouflon cavalries going around the back and hitting the rear instead. The last one is the Cyclops. This is your only non-slave unit. You can get 4 per turn from any fort, and they only follow a giant commander. So you do need the Cyclops commander to lead these guys, or I guess your Tyrant whenever the Tyrants wake up. Now let's talk about the mages and commanders. These are your 3 generic commanders. You just have the generic kind of slave commander. The Mouflon commander is actually pretty good. This is probably your best option for a generic army leader. He has Taskmaster +3, which is the best rate level of Taskmaster you'll get before the Titans wake up. And he's also got supply bonus, so he can help supply your troops when they're out in the field somewhere. All the Mouflons have a supply bonus, so if you have a good force of Mouflons with you, you shouldn't really have any issues with fighting, for example, a pop kill nation where all their lands are just totally dead, or going through deserts or whatever rough areas. And lastly, the Cyclops commander. Nothing about him except he's a giant. You need him if you want to lead giants around. Let's talk about some of the mages. So the 2 most common mages you're going to be using a lot, the Phlegra Oppressor and the Shackled Mage. The Shackled Mage, I would say, is your most important commander unit that Phlegra has. This is what enables a lot of strategies, but they're also probably the weakest link in the entire Phlegra lineup. These guys are a built-in communion slave. That means they always start the round as a communion slave. Almost all your other mage commanders, except the Cyclops, they all start as Communion Master. So for example, the Phlegra Oppressor, he begins the round as a Communion Master, so they don't need to cast like Communion Slave, Communion Master spells. They're just already in a Communion as soon as the round starts, and they could start casting some spells. So you can recruit Shackled Mages anywhere, any fort. Same with Phlegra Oppressors. So you're probably going to be around recruiting a few of these guys. The problem is the Shackled Mages, they're pretty flimsy. They often have afflictions when you create them, as well as they tend to die when you're in communions, because their paths are pretty random, and it's hard to guarantee the path they have will match up with whatever you need. Not to mention that there are 2 recruitment points, so recruiting a Shackled Mage means not recruiting something else. So you're always either going to be limited on Shackled Mages or limited on your battle mages. So that's a big pain with Phlegra. You do have to kind of balance these 2. I try to get a couple Shackled Mages per Phlegra Oppressor, or per big mage, whatever battle mage I want to use. The other option for a battle mage is the Oppressor General. This guy's almost the same as the Phlegra Oppressor. He's got the same paths, just 1 less path in exchange for being able to have more leadership. He has Magic Leadership 60 and 100 normal leadership versus 60 and 20 for the Phlegra Oppressor. He's pretty good as well. Again, built-in Communion Master. And he's got the exact same paths, except he only has 2 magic paths versus 3 for the Phlegra Oppressor. So these 2 are the main mages you guys are going to be recruiting in your outside on non-capital forts, and they're both quite good. They both work with the comedians, but again, the problem is balancing the number of Shackled Mages versus battle mages. Next, we have your 2 main capital-only mages, the Cyclops Smith is only 2 recruitment points, so he's actually fairly easy to recruit. He's not too expensive. He's a little bit expensive. This guy has the Master Smith bonus as well as resource bonuses. I try to recruit a good number of these guys for the first several turns, maybe the first year of the game, and just get a bunch of them to help build up a lot of resources in my capital. Maybe move them out to other forts later in the game to help build up resources there. After that, I try to switch to getting mostly Oppressor Archons, and then I try to keep recruiting Archons for most of the game, at least until the Titans wake up. Then I can switch over to recruiting Titans. So the Oppressor Archon is your big mage. He's a 7-path mage in late age, which is pretty good. He's also Holy 2, so he can do Holy Communions as well. This guy's a really good mage, but again, he's slow to recruit, capital only, and he competes with not only the Cyclops Smith, but also eventually the Titan. So your capital, the big problem with Phlegra, always with Phlegra and Makone, is that your capital is so busy, you have a lot of stuff you want to recruit there, and just not enough turns to do it. So try to get a lot of Oppressor Archons if you can. These guys are really valuable. Again, I'd really recommend taking Unaging for this guy because he's always going to be old. Unaging helps this guy a lot, help them stick around a little bit longer because these guys are pretty valuable. And probably once the Titans wake up, you're not going to be recruiting that many of them. So try to build up a decent force before the Titans come and then make use of those later to supplement. These are the paths they have as well. They have 100% chance for either another fire or earth, and then 100% chance again for any of these 4 paths: fire, air, earth, and astral. Then a small chance for that. The Cyclops Smith has almost the same paths as the Oppressor, Flagrant Oppressor, except he can have a chance to get 2 in earth or 2 in fire. The last commander of note is the Flagrant Priest. Now, this guy is just basically a generic priest. However, he does have the slave tag, which is good. That means he's very cheap to recruit, or cheap upkeep. And he has this Reduce Unrest trait, which is really useful because not only does your Dominion cause unrest, there's so many unrest-causing events in Phlegra that you really do want to have a good number of these priest guys around to deal with it. I also think that this guy could enable some blood strategies as well. For example, if you took a Lord of the Wild as your god and start blood hunting, a couple of these guys can really easily reduce unrest in a province without much need to patrol it down and crush the economy there. So just put a couple of these priests there, and they can really calm down the province despite your attempts to blood hunting. So that could be a good option if you want to break into blood as Phlegra. I think this could be pretty interesting. Now let's talk about some strategies in the early game. The main strategy in the early game you're going to be going for, other than just massing a ton of units, is communions. Your communions are a little bit different from normal communions because most of your mages are not astral mages. They're just automatically in a communion as soon as they join the battle. So they can cast a lot of good spells, but because the paths of the shackled mages, your built-in communion slaves, are totally random, and because they're quite weak in general, they tend to die very, very often. I have so many times where they just drop dead from being overused. So probably the best use of these guys to avoid them all just dying is either try to match them up with the equivalent caster. So if someone's casting a lot of earth spells, match up a couple of the earth shackled mages with him and so on like that. The other thing would be keep the communions fairly small and focus on not casting huge spells, but just more efficient spell casting. So maybe 1 Flagrant Oppressor, for example, with 2 shackled mages, just to give him a small boost, so we can be a little bit more efficient in the spell casting. That may be the best option for dealing with this, but again, you're just going to be so limited on mages because you have to balance out recruiting shackled mages and recruiting your battle mages. Here are some good examples of different buffs at different levels. The main things you should be researching as Phlegra are Alteration for sure. Getting to Alteration 7 is super important to enable your Titans later in the game and get a lot of good buffs online. Enchantment is pretty useful as well. Probably it would be worth to go in Enchantment later, probably after going Construction and Conjuration first. I would go for Enchantment. You can see Construction here, Soldiers of Steel, some other ones like Iron Warriors, Earthquake Warriors, Marvel Warriors, things like that. Just anything you do to buff your units. Here's some examples, but there's so many different other ones as well you can use. They're all totally fine. You also have some offensive spells. Again, you can use communions to deal with these. For example, Gifts from Heaven. You could do some Gifts from Heaven communions. Some of your Flagrant Oppressor Archons, they can even cast this without a communion. But again, I recommend using communions more for the sake of efficiency rather than casting huge spells. Thunderstrike is totally possible with communions. Same with Falling Fires, Magma Eruption, Blade Wind, Soul Slay. You can do some Soul Slay communions pretty easily, but any kind of big astral spells are going to drain out your Shackled Mages very quickly because none of them are going to have astral. Even Incinerate or Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart's pretty easy. You can even get a bunch of Shackled Mages that are just level 1 water to cast Frozen Heart. One thing you could do is get your Communion Master to buff all of the slaves, and then have them dip out or retreat or something, and then get them all to spam Frozen Heart to snipe a bunch of enemies. Incinerate as well, again, just for single target attack. Another obvious thing is elementals. All the nations, Phlegra, Makone, are good elemental nations. They pretty much have fairly easy access to all of the 4 common elementals. The hardest one, I guess, to access is the water elemental. You're always going to be lacking in water magic. I think only, I guess a few of your mages do have, all your main battle mages do have water magic, but you're always going to have more earth and fire. And wind and water are kind of the weaker elements for you. But getting earth and fire is pretty easy, and you can spam earth and fire elementals really, really easily. Last thing I want to mention is Banishment Communion. Now, this is something kind of not really specific to Phlegra. I guess any nation with a Communion Mage who is also a Holy Mage can do this. Because Holy spells don't cost any fatigue, you can spam them like crazy. You can do something, for example, buff one of your Oppressor Archons, get him to cast Divine Channeling, so he can buff up a couple of your priests. And for example, you're fighting a nation like Lemuria, they can cast tons of Banishment. Banishment levels up depending on the level of the caster, so that can really decimate a big army of ghosts or undead or something like that. So that can be very useful in the mid to late game. You're fighting a lot of undead or a lot of demons. Casting Banishment or things like that can deal with that. Or sorry, not for demons, but there are other spells for demons as well. Now, let's talk about the late game. Now, in the late game, you get the Tyrants. I mentioned that in my game, it took about until turn 40. The minimum time is turn 30, and they have a 20% chance to wake up at turn 30, plus an extra percent chance every turn. So turn 31 will be 26%, and so on. Mine, it took quite a long time. So it's a long time to wake. And again, when he wakes up, the first Titan wakes up, it kills 20% of your capital pop and plus 40 unrest. Besides that, there's a few other events before the Titans wake up that cause unrest in your capital, as well as killing population in your capital and around your capital. So your whole cap circle is going to slowly be eaten up by this volcano, and it's going to cause a huge hit to your economy. But these guys are amazing when they do wake up. They used to wake up a little bit earlier, around turn 15, but I think that was seen as too overpowered, so they got pushed back another 15 or so turns. But you could see just on the stats of this guy are brutal. They resist fire, resist poison, they're berserkers, they're Taskmaster 4, they're combat casters, they have a big fear aura, they have a siege bonus, they're unsurroundable, they're an amphibian, they have recuperation, they have really, really great paths, 4 fire, 2 death, 3 earth. These are amazing thug paths. These are like the perfect thug paths. And these guys are just amazing units. They also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks. And specifically the Serpentresses will hit 5 times for each attack. So that's really crazy. These guys can be absolutely brutal. Just a little bit of gear and you could turn these guys into an amazing super combatant. Now when it comes to buffing Tyrants, there's a few things you can think about. For example, Personal Iron Skin or Temper Flesh. For earth buffs, just to make them a little bit more durable. Later in the game, you're definitely going to want to use Iron Will, and that's a good reason to dip down into Thaumaturgy as well. Iron Will is really important for the Tyrants because their magic resist is not really that great, and basically the biggest counter to these guys is Soul Slay or other kinds of things like that, like casting Enslaved Mind or something. So you really need Iron Will, and you really need a lot of magic resist if you want to make use of these guys later in the game. Some other things, Phoenix Pyra is very important. It causes them to explode on death and then appear again on the battlefield. Soul Vortex, this causes them to drain the souls of everybody around them. Now, you can't cast this natively, but just give him a gem and you can cast this really easily. Invulnerability, same thing, gives invulnerability and just needs 1 gem to be able to cast this. You can see a lot of these important spells are all alteration. This is a big reason why you want to reach up to alteration 7. Once you get to alteration 7, you can do something like invulnerability, Phoenix Pyre, Soul Vortex, whatever, and that's it, game over. As for kitting out your Tyrants, I think this is a pretty decent kit for most online games. Single player, it doesn't really matter that much, but online you really need to have that magic resist gear. So you can see I gave him tons of magic resist gear. This is all pretty easy to craft, all either level 3 or level 5 gear. Once you get to level 7, you can get some better things like Shadow Brand, Fire Brand, or whatever other kind of weapons or things to use. These are all good options. Almost all of these give magic resistance, so this will give a lot of magic resistance. For the armor, I think elemental armor is a good option. This gives you resists for all the different elemental spells. If you're expecting to be against someone using a lot of elemental magic, this could be a good option. Otherwise, if you think you're going to be fighting some more like Soul Slay and you just want even more magic resist, something like Armor of Meteoric Iron might be a better option. This will give you a big boost to your magic resistance, rather than just boost to elemental resistance. Ring of Regeneration, I think, is really useful in the Tyrants as well, but you do need nature magic to make this one. So if you can pick up some nature mages or take nature on your god, I really like taking nature on my god anyways, so it's not too big a deal to get this one, but I think this is really, really useful for the Tyrant, just makes them a little bit more durable. Basically, when it comes to a super combatant, you want to make it as durable as possible. It's not about being able to just kill everybody instantly, it's about being able to sit there and chop that army down bit by bit until there's nothing left, and basically they can't do anything to you. Now, what about the very late game? Like after the Tyrants wake up, after maybe like 50, even getting into 60 turns or something like that. There are a few options for you. For example, you can kit your Tyrant into communions. That'll give you big death communions. Just get the Sky Metal Matrix and you can fit this guy into a Communion Mage as well with a bunch of Shackled Mages. However, casting any kind of big death spells is basically going to kill all your Shackled Mages. You could do some kind of Turbo Communions. For example, you could give some Slave Matrices to a few of the Cyclops Smiths. That would be a good way to turn them into very durable communion slaves and give your Tyrants a big boost if you want to do some really big communions. But that's a very late game option for you. Here are a few options for kind of spells you might cast, like Vortex of a Life, Big Banefire, Fields of the Dead, Undead Mastery, Life After Death. All these are good options and all kind of big death-focused options for your Tyrants to cast. Another very late game option is shifting into golems. So once you get way into the late game, you can switch over to creating a lot of golems. These are pretty easy for your Oppressor Archons to craft. Just give them a little bit of a boost in terms of their astral, and they can pretty easily start summoning golems. Golems are really good. They're pretty durable units. They're innately astral mages. They're always astral 2. They have a lot of resistances as well. They're amphibians, and they're just really great kind of thug units. So this guy with a couple of slaves following him around, holding a slave master matrix, he can be a pretty good communion master and even start casting some pretty brutal spells. For example, give him some gear like this, a lot of penetration gear like a Rune Smasher, Eye of the Void, and things like that to give him a lot of penetration ability. And you can have him cast some really brutal spells like Time Stop, for example, or Master and Slave. One golem leading a big force of Shackled Mages, doesn't really matter if they die. He can go into battle, cast Time Stop, cast Master and Slave, and just totally wreck a gigantic late game army. Lastly, I'll take a look at a few other notable national spells. Here's a few interesting national summons. The Hound of Twilight is not too bad. The main use for this guy is his patrol bonus. If you want to patrol down some provinces due to high unrest, this could be a good option for you. However, you do need to wait for your Tyrants to wake up to even summon this, because he is a death earth mage. But once the Tyrants wake up, this guy's really easy to get. This guy also has a bonus against undead. So if you're fighting, for example, Lemuria, maybe you could summon a few of these guys to help out your Titans. The Bind Carries is very similar. They also have this Ghost Rending ability, which is good against undead units. So again, if you're fighting a nation like Lemuria, maybe this could be a good tech option to deal with that. As I mentioned in my Arcocephali video as well, these guys are blood mages if you can empower them. So if you can get these guys Gift of Reason or something like that, then they can become blood mages for you. Last one is the Forged Brass Bull. These Brass Bulls are quite good as tramplers. They breathe fire, and they're really powerful, durable tramplers. So you can summon these pretty easily. They're fairly expensive, but a good force. These guys can act in some ways the same as a bunch of elephants, just trample and cause a lot of damage. The last spell of note is the Gigantomachia. This is the kind of signature spell of Makone Phlegra, and this is a global enchantment. It boosts your Dominion ability. It gives you even more Dominion conflict bonus, as well as makes all your giants cheaper and lets you recruit even more giants, including more Tyrants. You can recruit Tyrants as units once you activate this, rather than just commanders. Alright, so let's go back to the game here. Let's see how things go. So I want to try to make use of one of my Tyrants. I'm going to try to recruit Tyrants. Now, Tyrants are not just slow to recruit, they're very slow to recruit. This guy costs 6 recruitment points per guy. So it'll take definitely 2 turns and take a ton of money, ton of resources to recruit this guy. This guy's 800 gold for one of these guys. Like, that's so expensive, but they're definitely worth it. I'm at war with both Arcocephali and Utgard at the moment. Utgard's pushing me, but I'm on his capital. I'm hoping to pop it soon. And I need to actually reconnect with that force over again, so hopefully break through here. Arcocephali is kind of collapsing. I'm hoping I can break their lines pretty soon. Okay, we got a few battles coming on next turn. Let's move some of these ones out. I'll hopefully try to attack. Yeah, I got my god. This is my god here. So like I said, I took a Drakon, very low paths, barely any bless, but he's been really great this whole game. He's been able to expand a lot. He's been really durable in battles, so I really recommend taking a Drakon or some other kind of big monster. Maybe if you want more paths or more variability, you could take a Dormant Titan, but I think that's a little bit more risky. Definitely Phlegra needs the support in the early game, and that kind of defensive ability that an Awake monster can give you. But let's end the turn here and see how the Titan does. I'll try to move him out to somewhere. I don't know, maybe attack Arcocephali to break through this line again and see how he does. A few battles here. Looks like I fought against Arcocephali and his god was there. Let's take a look at this battle. This is just a very small force. A lot of crossbows, a lot of the Helot soldiers, and a bunch of Mouflons are going to come and pop his god. Hopefully they kill it. I don't think they will. This god has a big aura. I think he's going to be able to run away. I don't think he's going to be able to take this. But look at that. They pop him a lot. They just can't break him, though. Alright, he's able to run away. Just a little bit of energy left, but he's able to get away from me. Is he? Yeah, he is. Too bad. Oh, looks like they kicked out that force. I'm going to see if I can send my Titan down there and see how we can deal with a very big army like that. So he's almost down here. Let's give him the last little bit of gear. Let's give him some kind of armor. I guess that's okay. That's pretty good. Can I give him anything else? Let's give him like a burning pearl. That'd be pretty good. So I guess that's a good setup. What is his kind of kit at the moment? Yeah, oh. It's these Tyrants are just so expensive, dude. Like, there's so much. I think I'm not going to have to recruit. I'm going to have to skip one for one turn because that's like so much money for that guy. I'm going to recruit an Archon instead just to save a little bit of money. Okay, and then I can maybe recruit some Mouflons here. That'll be nice to have some extra support from them. So where did the Gigantes go? Oh shit, the Gigantes did defeat them. So they attacked him, and he smashed them. Let's take a look at this battle. Now, he did have support from the province defense. Where is he? There he is. There's Soul Vortex Invulnerability. And he should be very hard to deal with. Especially this AI army, they basically have no mage support. I don't really know what they're going to do to him. And he's combat caster too, so we can run in and keep casting. Is he tired out? What is he doing? Oh, he's tired out? His morale crashed, but he's too tired to run away. Oh boy, so they caught him. He was going to run away, but they caught him and they all ended up dying. Damn. So yeah, they can't touch him. Look at that. They can't do his shit up to him. Wow. And he's berserk, so he won't run away now either. Yeah, look at that. Wow, look at him go. Damn, dude. That's rough. Okay, now I have another guy going to come in. Let's have him push down into Archocephale. I'm going to have this guy actually... He needs some more gems. I need some more gems for this guy. Only has one gem left. That's not great. But I should have researched Alteration 7 now. So let's actually change his script a little bit. I'm going to keep Soul Vortex on, but I'm going to have him cast Phoenix Pyre. There, that's good. So he'll do Iron Skin, Soul Vortex, Phoenix Pyre, and that's enough. That's pretty good. So he can advance and cast spells. I'll give him some more gems a little bit later. Let's have him just march down somewhere. Let's have him march into these provinces here and deal with these Jotun units. Sick of these Jotun everywhere. This guy can march down. He still has a lot of gems in reserve, so he can still keep casting whatever he's casting. Actually, I'm going to change this guy's script a little bit as well. Let's do Iron Skin, Invulnerability, Soul Vortex. Let's change Invulnerability to Phoenix Pyre as well. And Soul Vortex. Okay, that's enough. That's pretty good for him. And then he'll just move down south and deal with this army. This guy will move in. And now I'm going to actually see if I can afford some more Archons. Or afford some more Tyrants. So let's get rid of these guys. Let's get another Tyrant out the gate, and I'll get a couple more of these Iron Guard. I really like these Iron Guard, to be honest. They're really good. They hold on pretty well. Mouflon's really good too. The Cyclops soldiers, I've basically not used these the entire game. I mean, I don't know. Early age giant kind of guys like this are pretty good. Here, these guys are just evocation bait, in my opinion. Okay, so let's get these guys to make some more gear. Now I have level 5 research. So that's pretty good. So we'll be able to get a little bit better gear for this guy. Again, they ran into a Gigante and they weren't expecting that. So basically wherever I have a Gigante is fine, but anywhere else is like getting hit hard. This army, what are you guys doing? Let's go back there and deal with that. Okay, this guy is here. Oh, he's crazy now. So another problem with the Gigantes is they tend to go crazy sometimes. So he's kind of busy at the moment. He's occupied. Let's get this guy to move over here. We'll have him move into Archocephale's territory. I'm not going to have him siege the fort. Also have my god move out here as well. My god can go support. Let's get this Gigante to move out of here. And we'll see if we can have him go deal with the Giants. I don't know if I should have him focus on the Giants or on Archocephale. I have this guy in Archocephale at the moment kind of rampaging around. Maybe I'll get this guy to move out over here and hopefully deal with these Giants. We'll have this army move north again and take out some of these forces. I really just need to push back against Utgard at the moment. Utgard is much worse than Archocephale. Archocephale is barely holding on, but I've not really been able to push them that much. It looks like I got another Titan online too, so let's give him some gear. Give him this, give him Frostbrand, kind of lead. Shield, is that fully kit? Okay, that's good. And give him a couple gems. A couple fire gems as well. Give him some earth gems too, why not? Give him a lot of gems. Let's set his force. And I'll change the invulnerability to Phoenix Pyre. Another Tyrant coming again next turn. Let's keep pumping out Tyrants for now. My economy is recovering a little bit after that big shock of my capital blowing up. So that's pretty good. Let's get this guy to go in somewhere. Let's actually have him move into Archocephale. We'll have both these guys rampage Archocephale while I have my god deal with Utgard a little bit. I don't know if he could deal with Utgard on his own, but we'll just have him deal with that for now. All right, a lot of battles here. Not much going on. Again, Titans are just unstoppable right now. Look at this. This is a big army. Let's take a look at that. This is just province defense. But you can see he has no problem dealing with this. I think AI has a really hard time dealing with very powerful super combatant units. They just don't really know what to do about something like this. He's just going to eat all these guys. They're going to be gone. Look, he's just buffing himself. Nothing they could do about it. Look at that. Oof. They're going to all be just torn apart. And the fact that he's berserk means he just will never run away, which is great, because he'll stick here and just kill everybody. He's not going to run away because he has a morale break or something like that. Okay, these guys are still doing pretty well. Alright, he's not going to be able to pop Archocephali on his own. That doesn't really matter. I'm going to move these guys on there. They can help support that siege a little bit. Let's move these guys out of here too. Let's take every single province of Archocephali with these Titans. And then we'll move them out to deal with Utgard after that. Oh boy, he died. Holy shit. Look at this. Let's see this battle. Damn, that sucks. How the fuck did he die? Whoa, okay, the vampires got him. Damn. Damn, that sucks. So he couldn't get the Soul Vortex off. They attacked him too quickly. Just a big swarm of these little vampires. These vampires are so brutal. He did get Phoenix Pyre. So he's still around here somewhere. Where is he? Oh, he didn't come back. What? Damn, that sucks so much. Alright, looks like we got a nice battle here. Finally, one of my Tyrants was able to catch a big army in the field. This looks like one of the Andromania armies. Andromania decided to invade me at the same time, so I'm at war with Archocephali, but they're almost dead. Utgard, who I'm still trying to cope with, and now Andromania, which kind of sucks. So I think I'm basically at war with everybody in the game except TNG. Let's see how this battle went. So this is one Tyrant and a couple Helot soldiers that he was kind of accompanying, and they all died pretty much immediately. But let's see how this battle went. Looks like he slaughtered all of them. 2 Tyrants. Oh, I have 2 Tyrants here. Holy shit. I forgot about that. So, okay, let's see how 2 Tyrants can deal with it. So they both have a very basic buff. Temper Flesh, Soul Vortex, and then I think Phoenix Pyre. So all these guys are going to rush in here and just get torn up. Look at that. It's like a meat grinder. Holy shit. Yeah, look at him go. And now they're going to chase him down. Look at that. All these guys are going to die. Damn. As long as these guys can get Soul Vortex up, usually they're pretty hard to beat. I lost a few of them, but that's because they ran out of Death Gems and couldn't get Soul Vortex anymore, which is a little bit too bad. But yeah, if they can get Invulnerability and Soul Vortex, that's really, really tough. Damn, look at them go. That's rough. That's a good performance. I have a few other battles around here. This one didn't go too well. That's a big army, so too much to deal with there. They both still have a few death gems left. Let's try one more big battle against these guys. Let's see how these guys can deal with it. Looks like they have another big force. We'll see how these two can cope with it. They both have enough death gems, so it should be okay. Ooh, a big army here. Ooh, let's see if he can deal with this one. So we'll have one more battle each. These guys are going to hopefully cope with Utgard. One Titan. One Tyrant against Utgard. He's got a lot of gems, but that's going to be a rough time there. What's his kit? Soul Vortex, Phoenix Pyre. Okay, that should be okay. That should be okay. He should be able to deal with that. I don't know. That's a big army there of giants. And we'll see how these two deal with this. I think these two should be able to deal with this no problem. I don't think he'll be able to deal with all these giants, but we'll see. Let's end the turn, and this will be the last kind of round here. All right, let's see those battles. Blah, blah, blah. I don't really see much. Oh, wow. Look at that. He crushed it. Let's see this battle. So one Tyrant alone against this big force of giants. Let's see how well he did. Again, if he can get his Soul Vortex up or Invulnerability, then he's pretty much okay. I don't think anyone could touch him. Look at that. Oh, look at that. They're just going to run in there and get murked. Yeah, these guys are all dead. And I think he has... what's his weapon? I think he just has the Sword of Swiftness. Yeah, he's got Sword of Swiftness, so nothing really special. Just ripping them apart one by one. They can't really hurt him at all. Yeah, he's just going to grind them down. Like, there's nothing they could do about it. And, you know, the AI doesn't really send any mages in here. If they had some mages to hit him with some, I don't know, something, anything, then probably he would die a little bit quicker. I did lose one Tyrant before, just to a big swarm and being hit by the mages, but these guys can't do anything about it. He's just going to rip them apart. Look at that. Damn, look at those muscles. Holy shit, he's tearing them up. It's a little bit tedious to watch a battle like this, but you can see he just tears them apart. Yeah, they're all gone. They can't do anything about it. That's rough. That's rough, bro. And he's fine. He's totally fine. Not even a scratch on him. That's the power of thugging. There's another battle I did, right? Oh, this was the 2 Tyrants. And they fought this force. These force actually moved in to attack them. And looks like they were able to wipe it out as well. This is 2 of them together, though. This is brutal to deal with. And these guys have a much better kit. They both have... what is it? They both have... This guy's a Frostbrand. This guy's a Mace of Eruption. They both have the Fire Shield. So these guys are really hard to deal with. Yeah, they're going to rip these guys apart. Look at that. No drugs. Just living in the moment. 2 guys living in the moment. There they go. Damn. Wipe them out. That's the true power of a thug. Let me check the heroes for a minute. I want to see the global heroes. Look at the Hall of Fame here. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are the Titans. And this is going to get filled up by these Titans very, very soon. Okay, one of them died, but, you know, he did a good job. Damn. All right, I think that's pretty good. I think it's enough here. I got another force. Let's send these guys to pop this one. Geez, Andromania is pushing in hard. Oof. Let's get another one of these guys out here to deal with this. Oh, he doesn't have a shield. Oh, shit. That's too bad. I gotta give him one. I forgot to make a shield for him. Oh well, let's move this guy in here. We'll give him the same little setup, and we'll give him a bunch of guys too to help him. These Ironbound are good enough. Just let them attack. It doesn't really matter what they do. He can sit in the back. We'll give him a little script. Give him some death gems. There, that's enough. That's pretty good. So let's move him out there, and hopefully he'll be able to cope with that army. Maybe wipe these 2 armies out. Damn, this dude. Oof, this guy's tough. Holy shit. He used all his death gems. He still has tons of death gems, too. Damn. Utgard's never getting that province back. Alright, pretty good here. For fun, I'm going to send this guy into a huge army. I'm not at war with Tenchi right now, but I'm going to send this guy into Tenchi, see if he can deal with that. That'll be pretty funny. See what happens. Let's send this guy to also deal with this force here. Damn, Andromania is attacking everywhere. Just going to see if I can wipe out all these armies. So this will be last turn. Let's see a few more battles. Hopefully none of these guys die. Okay, a lot of battles. Okay, Tyrants wipe this force out. Damn, look at that. That's the 2 Tyrants again. They attack this province. This force is gone. Holy shit, this is like a meat grinder. Yeah, these guys just wipe it out. Look at that. Holy shit. They're just going to tear this whole army apart. This whole army's just gone. Like, gone. Evaporated. Holy shit. Yeah, they're gone. That whole army's just over. Okay, what was the other one they had? Nothing really going on there. Okay, that was just a province defense. That's nothing going on there. This is one of them. Yeah, they beat this one. All the Iron Guards died, which sucks, but the Tyrant lived, so that's good enough. He's the only one that matters anyways. Yeah, they can't even touch him. With his buffs on, he's untouchable by this. Like, the AI can't do shit about it. They have no recourse about it. He's got total defense for all the elements. Yeah, he's got elemental armor, so these elemental attacks, these fire attacks are just doing nothing to him. He's just smashing these guys up. And with Soul Vortex, he can just continuously regenerate himself. They can't do anything about it. Yeah, boom. They're gone. Oof, that's rough. And what were some other battles? Was that all the battles? That was all of them. There's one more. I attacked this guy. Oh, he lost here. So why did he run away? Oh, what the fuck? Damn, what happened here? Did you get pinged or something? He just ran away. What the hell? What the heck? Why did he just run away? Damn, what the hell is that? That's weird. I don't know why he just ran off. So he ran off and then died. Oh, that sucks. Oh well. That's pretty bad. Alright, not too bad. Yeah, so pretty good. Either way, I think I'm going to end the video here. That's enough. I'm up to my asshole with invasions at the moment. Basically, everybody's invading me. I'm getting hit hard by Andromantia, even though I keep crushing their armies. But, geez, my Tyrants are... Even though they can kill huge armies, these guys just have armies and armies and armies to spare. So, that's the problem with fighting against AI. You got to deal with kind of bullshit like that. Either way, I'm going to end the video here, guys. And I'll see you guys again next time.